Take a moment to pause and think. You respect others for their heroism, their hard work, or their contributions to the country. You give them space. You say, they deserve this. And you are right. But here is the real question: how much respect do you give yourself? Or, have you mistaken respect for that fleeting feeling you get only when others praise you or call you smart? Today, we are going to talk about a crucial, yet often confusing topic. The title might sound common, but the content has the power to change the trajectory of our lives. Self-respect. Many of us think we respect ourselves. But, have we ever found ourselves in places we didn't belong? Have we ever done something that contradicted our values, only to regret it later and ask, why did I do that? In that moment, where did the respect we had for ourselves go? Today, we will look deeply into what true self-respect is, how it differs from self-esteem, and most importantly, how to navigate the storms of life without compromising who we are. Stay with us. Before we dive into the core of the matter, let's clarify the terms. We often mix things up. What do we mean when we say self-respect? This is a major topic in the world of psychology. To understand it simply, we need to look at two fundamental ways a person measures their own worth. The first is self-esteem. This is a feeling. It is an internal belief. It's when you think, I am this kind of person, I can do this, I have this much value. The second, and our focus for today, is self-respect. What is the difference? Self-respect is an action. It isn't just an internal feeling. Self-respect means fully understanding your own needs, values, emotions, behavior, and identity, and then taking practical action that matches that understanding. It is expressed through deeds, not just words. It is the act of giving your feelings and desires their proper weight. Therefore, unlike the feeling of self-esteem, self-respect is an action based on self-knowledge. To truly understand what self-respect is, we first need to clear up what it is not. There are common misconceptions here. First, self-respect does not mean self-worship. Making yourself an idol, thinking you possess qualities you don't have, or puffing yourself up to believe you are better than everyone else, that is not self-respect. There is a common analogy: imagine a cat looking in the mirror and seeing a lion. That isn't self-respect, it's self-delusion. Standing in front of a mirror and bragging, I am a hero, I am this and that, when deep down you know the reality isn't respect. It's a lie. Second, it is not excessive selfishness. There is such a thing as healthy self-love. Both religious texts and science recognize the golden rule: do not do unto others what you do not want done to yourself. The foundation of this rule is the respect one has for oneself. However, the greed of saying me first, only me in every situation is not self-respect. So, what is self-respect? The answer starts with one word: knowing. Because you cannot respect what you do not know. Let's take an example. Imagine an ordinary-looking elderly man sitting in a crowd. No one pays him any attention. Suddenly, someone comes along and speaks about who that man is. They tell you, this man performed great deeds for the country, he is a hero who did such and such. What do you do in that moment? You immediately get up from your seat. You say, please, sit here, you deserve this honor. Why? Because you knew him. Once you understood his work and his contribution, the respect you felt and the actions you took changed. Self-respect is exactly like that. Have you introduced yourself to yourself? Have you ever asked, who am I? What are my values? Why am I here in this world? What do I deserve? Just like the respect you gave that hero, once you know yourself, you begin to give yourself the proper placement. You start saying, I deserve this place, but that one does not befit me. The difference is, when you respect others, the trigger might be external, but with self-respect, you are both the actor and the receiver. It starts from within, from understanding. There is a brilliant story that explains self-respect perfectly. It is the story of knowing your field. There was a university professor. As he was leaving the campus, he walked past a taxi stand nearby. A group of idle young men hanging around the area saw him. One of the young men, wanting to mock the professor, called out, Professor, hey, give us about 6 A+ so we can sell them and make some quick cash. He thought grades were merchandise. The professor should have just ignored this. Instead, he engaged. What? How can grades be sold? Don't you know? He tried to explain. The situation quickly turned into insults. The young men insulted him, and the professor started insulting them back. It escalated until stones were thrown and it became a physical brawl. At that moment, an elderly man who knew the professor came, pulled him away, and dragged him out of the fight. As the professor struggled, gasping, "Let me go. Don't you see what they are saying to me?" the elder gave him a piece of golden advice. "My son, I saw everything, that is why I dragged you away. But listen, your field is the field of knowledge. Their field is the field of insults. They realized they couldn't beat you on your field, so they dragged you down to theirs. You don't know that field. They beat you on their home turf. Do not step down from your field." This story holds the greatest secret of preserving self-respect. Self-respect means knowing your field. It means distinguishing, does this conversation befit me or not? Should I respond to this or not? Sometimes we lose our self-respect because we allow others to drag us onto their playing field. The excuse "they started it" or "my friends pushed me" does not work. Self-respect means standing firm in your integrity, no matter where you are. It is protecting yourself from cheap insults, pointless arguments, or actions that are beneath you. It is holding a consistent, unshakable stance. Values are not up for negotiation. Let's talk about value. We said self-respect is tied to knowing one's worth. But how is value measured? Take gold. Gold has honor. Why are people happy when they are given diamonds or pearls? Because they have value. But where did that value come from? It comes from their chemical properties that distinguish them from brass or iron. It's because they have been tested by fire and refined. They have beauty. They don't rust over time. Both society and science have agreed this is gold, and it is expensive. A person must also set their own value. You must ask, what is my worth? And that worth must be measured by the correct scale. If you take gold and weigh it on a grain scale used for heavy sacks of teff, will you get its true value? No. Gold is measured in carats. Grain is measured in quintals. Weighing gold on a grain scale devalues it. Many of us measure ourselves using the wrong scales, other people's opinions, the amount of money we have, or material possessions. Self-respect begins when you measure yourself with your own accurate scale. When you ask, what makes me different? What are my values? How much do I endure during trials? When you know your value, you know the respect you deserve. When you know the respect you deserve, you position yourself in places that match that respect. This is not arrogance. Sometimes, even humbling yourself can be an expression of self-respect. If you put gold on your nose, on your finger, or drop it in the mud, its nature as gold does not change. Its honor is internal. However, if you don't know your value, you feel shy when people give you respect you don't think you deserve, or you get angry when they deny you the respect you do deserve. A person who respects themselves is not shaken by external conditions because they know their internal worth. Self-respect is also connected to self-confidence. But there is a trap here too. True self-respect stems from the knowledge, skill, and capacity you actually possess. A fake persona is like an inflated balloon. Let's take an example. A person who builds their body through sports, hard work, and proper nutrition can lift heavy weights. The muscle is real. They can handle the load. On the other hand, someone who puffs up their body using shortcuts, steroids, or injections might look huge from the outside. Their muscles might even look bigger than the person who worked for it. But when a heavy weight is placed on them, they cannot lift it. The shoulder wasn't prepared for it. Self-respect means building true internal strength, not just constructing a visible physique or a fake facade. We must be careful not to give ourselves respect we haven't earned, lest we collapse when the burden comes. There is a historical event that illustrates this well. When fascist Italy invaded Ethiopia, an Italian officer stationed in Eritrea wanted to insult the great Ethiopian hero, Ras Alula Abinega. So, he named his house dog Alula. At the time, there was an Ethiopian patriot working in that house, pretending to be a collaborator. It pained him deeply to hear his master calling the dog Alula. One day, when the officer went out for work, the patriot killed the dog. When the officer returned, he asked, "Where did Alula go?" "Do you know what the patriot answered?" "He died." "What did he die of?" asked the officer. "The name was too heavy for him, so he died." You see, names, honor, and position have weight. When we give ourselves honor we don't deserve, or wear a fake identity, the end result is a collapse. As they say, the name was too heavy. True self-respect starts with accepting the truth. It isn't about puffing yourself up to be what you are not. It is about knowing who you are and presenting yourself accordingly. What is the benefit of self-respect? First, it is vital for mental health and psychological strength. Self-respect is like a shield. When the world throws "you are useless, you are good for nothing" at you, that shield defends you. Second, it protects you from actions that do not befit you. For example, a person might be in financial trouble. They might be poor. But if they believe, "I do not deserve to be called a thief," they maintain their dignity even in poverty. They say, "I would rather live in my poverty than bow my head in shame to steal." Self-respect protects you from corruption, addiction, and unworthy places. Third, it helps you set boundaries. When you respect yourself, you decide how far people are allowed into your life. You don't get pushed around. And you don't allow yourself to be pushed around. And if anyone tries to insult you or despise you, remember what Mahatma Gandhi said: "To sell a human being as a slave is shameful for the seller, not the one being sold." Being insulted doesn't touch your honor. What touches your honor is when you insult them back and descend to that low playing field. Being despised does not make you despicable. If we do not despise ourselves, no one can despise us. Self-respect is not a gift that comes from the outside. No one can hand it to you and say, "Here, be respected." Respect is a journey that starts with the self. Know your worth. Identify your field. Honor your values. Be true to your humanity, your word, and your identity. When you give respect to yourself, the world adjusts the place it gives you. If not, when people take back the respect they gave you, you will be left with nothing. The choice is yours. Will you choose the burden that weighs you down, or the shield you can rely on?